Well, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself on Oxger on the show tonight. It's Jaffa and JFK. Evening, gents.
Evening, Oxger. Evening, Jaffa.
Evening, lads. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Just like to wish everybody a happy Easter. It was a really wonderful
Easter. It was a happy Easter, but I can remember it. But that's
yes. And I'd just like to welcome all our listeners out there in Rangers Radio land and all you boys and girls in the lobby. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
All right, yeah. I'm the host. You sit down in that corner over there and shut up.
I'm walking about here, mate.
Right, okay. Just put your mute, right? Right, okay. We'll have to use two. And you have the four, JFK, and then Jaffa. Get it off your chest. JFK.
Wonderful result on Sunday, mate. There's not really much that to say about the game that you guys have already said. It was an all-round fantastic performance. Unexpected by a lot of people. I had my doubts only in the fact is that my physical attributes going through that if there was going to be extra time, if we would maybe tire, but they proved us wrong. They were strongest team for the first minute at 120 Oxyar. And some of the performances, especially for Big John Lundstrom, was absolutely fantastic. Calvin Bassey, I'm here's maybe going to get a call up for a 100 metres sprint at the next Olympic Games. And then that part of the game, how he could manage to run the way he did, absolutely wonderful. And it was a fantastic atmosphere that I've heard. You know, I was out for lunch today with my good friend Southside. Went for a bit of champagne lunch, and we were going to go to the swimming baths and that, but he didn't have his man Keeney with him, so we didn't bother getting in. But it was a wonderful day. I watched it on the telly, and obviously, but the atmosphere in my house was just probably as good as anywhere. But a wonderful day. Well deserved result, Oxyar.
Yeah. I think the best team won, and especially when you reflect on it. In the heat of the battle, Jaffa. Sometimes you don't realise, you know what I mean? All right, I suppose the big turning point was when they hit the bar against the run of play. They didn't take their chance, and we punished them.
We did, and we punished them, clinically. It was a thrilling performance, brilliant, as you guys and Jimmy said there, from start to finish, right at it, just absolutely suffocated them. In all positions, in their creative positions, and we got a hold of the game. They got those two chances, their goal, and then the one, as you say, hit the bar. But we were deserved winners, and real 9 and 10 out of 10 performances all over the park, and you need that in those games. Ox. We said that before it. You've got to win the battle first. The individuals, tempo had to be right, attitude had to be right. It was brilliant, great. Seeing Van Bronckhorst as well. I mean, he was right into it at the end as well, which was great. And I think all of us as fans sometimes had questions about these.
You're not allowed to celebrate, Charlie Nicholas says. I think a certain team done a lap of honour and get right into Andy Halliday when he beat us once in the league game a few years ago, didn't he?
Exactly, mate.
Aye. I know.
Funny, isn't it?
You don't do irony, that mob. You don't do irony. I just want to touch briefly, and I hope you two are the same as me. Never defeated, always cheated. It's just so tiresome, isn't it? They just can't say the best team won. Some of our players didn't play well, they played better. Move on. They just can't do it, can they? A club like the other, classless, clueless, and just unbelievable.
I made a point. They'll listen again with Radio Snide. Obviously, I never listened to it after we're winning Sunday, but there's nothing about how good Rangers were. It was all and that's the pundits and all, how bad they were, and they made us look good, and they all saying, always cheated, never defeated, and it's absolutely tiresome to listen to. And you don't expect any more than what you're getting after Moxie. That's just the way they are. They're never going to change. But they're just as bad when they win. They're bad winners as well. The thing that stuck my throat. I listened to there was 3 of them on one after the other, and they were all calling for the referee never to be Bobby Madden, never to referee another game between them. And
that was the same referee who.
I know you're going to say. The 3-0 game. Who was his referee?
Who was the same referee who never stopped to play when one of your players had been injured in the box?
Yep.
All right, maybe
That's
just me.
Aye, and that's I'm listening and I'm screaming at my voice. You know, obviously there's nobody hearing me because it's on the radio, and it's well, that's the same referee. They beat us 3-0, and we were poor that day, but they were magnificent. And as usual, when they win, they're magnificent. When they get beat, they're always rubbish. It's embarrassing. Really is embarrassing.
Okay, Jaffa, it's just tiresome. Tiresome's a good word there.
Oh, totally, Ox. And on a more positive note, and we've got loads to be positive about, as I'm sure you lads and probably every other teddy bear walking about the last couple of days. I don't know about yours, but has this been bouncing about your head? Glasgow Rangers. It's a catchy wee ditty, innit? I'm going to feel sorry for Mrs. Bridge, isn't she?
It's no just the defeat, Oxford. But I picked up something today, and look, we're not going to get into a big detail about it. We know that there's songs out there, and I've gave you my feelings on it, but we're not going to get into that. But the fact of the matter is that there was songs for both sides on Sunday, but the big report was with a certain journalist that it was just us that were singing the songs. And it's absolutely disgusting that they're getting away with this, you know. And it's a time that Rangers stood up.
Placement on the media. What can Rangers say, mate? What can Rangers say?
Well, Rangers can
they
can obviously ask the fans to stop singing it, right? That's obvious, right? But then there could be a caveat on that. But you've got to remember that our fans weren't the only ones singing. You know, because we're getting tired of the same stick all the time. You know, we all know. But we're all in the truth now. When we go to Ibrox, I certainly don't sing the songs anymore because I'm told that I could be arrested. But I've got my own feelings that I should be allowed to sing these songs, but I don't sing them anymore. Okay, that's what they're telling me I can't do. But when there's people reporting that they're disgusted with the hymn sheet and all that, the song sheet again, the all rubbish coming out of the Rangers fans, but there's nothing said about the other side. Rangers should say, we don't condone it, but you've got to remember there's others doing it as well. Don't just throw the door at it.
Defence. So what do you want Rangers to say? Why would they raise it? Why would they raise it? And why would they raise it on here? Anyway, Jaffa, great result. Great result. Great feeling for the support. Considering Thursday night.
Unbelievable, Ox, and the great thing about all of everything that's happened in the last 72 hours or so from the Braga result on Thursday and then moving on to Sunday is that the position that the team will be in, Ox, moving forward. And I mean, we've got some massive games coming up. I mean, ticketing information coming out today from the club.
It came out today, didn't it? 50 quid roughly a ticket for the game.
Yeah, £50 for a ticket, I believe, for the Leipzig game. With away allocations coming out, try to put all the fans, the ones that are going, are trying to get booked up. We've obviously got the final for the Scottish Cup will be coming out shortly as well. So we've also still got the remaining matches in the League Ox. So great. The players will be as high as they will ever be moving into this period, the business end as we all call it in the season, and a better position they couldn't find themselves in. It's all about resting up, getting ready for the Motherwell game next weekend, and then the Leipzig game I'm sure will take care of itself as it moves round the clock. So great Ox. We could not be in a better position. Mentally. Physically, we could probably be better. I don't know what the injury situation is, but mentally, we couldn't be any better.
Right, question for you two gentlemen. You two fine gentlemen, right? On Wednesday, did you see this coming?
No. To be quite honest with you.
What was your fear? Was it the Braga game or the semi-final?
The semi-final for me, Ox.
All right, okay. Jimmy?
The semi-final after our exertions in the Braga game.
All right, so just because of the fixtures, if you like, the turnaround. All right,
I wouldn't have been so concerned if I'd done the 90 minutes, but I'd been a bit more confident. I just thought that if there's a chance that it could get into extra time, we might burn out, but we proved them all wrong.
All right, okay. Right, before we open the phone lines, it was sad news today. We heard the passing of Graham Fife. Would have been somebody who was breaking into the team just as you were breaking into. I was going to say who's there, Jimmy, but that doesn't sound very, very nice. But
I'm pleading the fifth.
Being a teenager, yeah.
Yeah, Graham Fife was a bit part player for Rangers. He wasn't an ever present.
How many goals do you reckon he scored, mate?
I think he scored 40 goals or something.
Mm-hmm. He scored a few goals, mate, in very limited performances.
Yeah.
You know.
He was a steady player, Ox. Yeah, he wasn't like a stalwart. He wasn't in the team constantly.
Didn't play every week.
But when he did play, he did the job that was asked of him, and he was part of obviously the 72 Cup Winners' Cup squad. So, it was a decent player, mate. A Ranger, so that's all that matters to us. He was a Ranger.
Well, 91 appearances, 24 substitute appearances, yeah. And 32 goals, so not a bad return. Not a bad return, you know. But a bit part player is fine. But he was part of the Barcelona squad, Jaffa, so he'll always be remembered.
Oh, totally, Ox, and God rest his soul. And my thoughts go out to his family and all his friends. Brilliant. Any member of your family or Rangers family always goes with our best wishes and our thoughts at this time for him.
Here. I again repeat what Jaffa said. All our thoughts and prayers go to Graham's family and friends. And that's always sad time when one of the Rangers family disappears. Right, okay. What's to talk about? Obviously the prices. VAR, I know you've got a big interest in that. JFK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the price thing is absolutely fantastic.
You happy with that?
I actually expect it to hit the 55 for
maybe that'd be quite apt.
That's what I thought. But I think probably you'll find that maybe the if there is a general sale and the managers in the general sale, you'll probably find them will be touching 60 quid. I think £50 for a semi-final game is absolutely a wonderful price. As it was when we spoke last week about it's roughly £2 a game extra for next season, and I think that they've got to commend the board for that. They come in for a lot of criticism, but I think in this instance they've got to be congratulated.
I mean, it's a free hit for us, Jaffa, just before we get the phone lines. I know you like your numbers, but this revenue stream getting to the final of the Scottish Cup, which we've not done for a long time, more revenue, more hopefully prize money for being the winners, this revenue for getting to the semi-final. When you're sitting with your fag packet in the boardroom before the start of the season, you're not budgeting for this, are you?
Not at all, Ox, no, and that's what's great about it, and obviously be delighted to see the actual end figures when they do appear out in December time. But yeah, it's just fantastic, Ox, and obviously all the kit sales that goes along with it. You know, in Castores, we often joke about all year they just have an opportunity.
That Castore guys, ka-ching.
I mean, they've got these vans that everywhere I turn in Glasgow, there's one of the black Castore. I think they're following me about. I think it's just me they're after when I'm getting about the tune.
Oh dear. Right, okay. We'll get the phone lines open and then we'll see what people have got to say now they've recovered, if that's all right we used to.
Definitely.
Perfect.
Let's hear fees.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Okay, so big news that obviously fixtures moved and also VAR introduced. Where do you want to start? Who do you want to start with? JFK.
The fixture thing is a no-brainer, mate. It gives us that extra 24 hours to recover for any injuries or exertions laying into the Leipzig game away. So that was a sensible thing. Rangers weren't asking for much, so I'm really pleased about that was granted to. So yeah, that's sensible for a change, mate.
Very unusual, isn't it? Unusual.
Yes, very unusual.
Jaffa?
Yeah, same, Ox. It seemed to happen pretty quickly and it was all sorted out. I seen Rangers today congratulating or thanking, I should say, Motherwell and Police Scotland and various other organisations.
Here's the other side of this flip coin of that question for you two fine gentlemen, right? They knew we were still in Europe when they put the fixtures out. How could they not have done it in the first place?
Yeah, I agree with that. But obviously, I mean, we're at this stage now. We expect that for him, Oxshire. You know, if we did,
nice gesture. Yes, it was the right thing to do.
Yep.
But surely,
we had to
if they were on the ball and knew their game, knew their fixtures.
Yep.
It wasn't a surprise. We were still in Europe when they sent out the top 6 fixtures. So once again, even though they've corrected it, I give it to you, 2 gentlemen, for the defence. They've dropped another bollock. Jaffa.
Well, they have, Ox, and you're right. They knew we were still in that. They knew that we had a semi-final to play in the Cup. There's a potential that we could get through and get to the final, and you can see the congestion in the fixture list. It should have been caveated when the fixtures come out. The split fixtures come out to say that game would be moved right away. You know, I go back to some of the points that we were making before. The other side of the city, they can get games moved just to get on a flight to go to Dubai.
Yes, JFK.
It was a poor decision to do what they did. They knew a fortnight ago nearly that what was happening with the fixtures, and they should have just that fixtures there. Rangers are a possibility of getting through into the European thing, so we'll hold back knowing that it's not any great shakes. But they wouldn't have gave us it if we hadn't asked for it, Oxshire. We asked for it and we go to it. But we don't have any faith in Doncaster and McClelland.
No,
any of them at all.
They done the right thing, but how they got there was bizarre. Anyway, we'll be joined by Dougie. Evening, Dougie.
Hello, how are you
doing?
Dougie. Dougie.
Hi, everybody.
How are we doing, mate? What's on your mind, Dougie?
Not bad. I just want to get what the panel think of how many new signings do you think will be needed over the summer, and who would be on your list to be going?
If you'd asked me that question on Wednesday, I would have gave you a lot. If you'd asked me about 5:30 on Sunday night, I'd have said nobody, but that's not a true reflection. Jaffa?
Dougie, that's a great question, and I'm sure it's something that jumps in and you're back to the front of your mind periodically, because you see guys like Calvin Bassey and you're like, oh my God, you know, if MD comes in and makes an offer for him after that performance on Sunday and after Thursday night as well against Braga. And listen, that this story's not finished yet. You know, we've got a lot of football still to play. I don't know, Dougie. I don't know the answer to that. Listen, I think we all know there's 2 or 3 that are coming to the end, the last year of their contracts, that are probably going to move on. Alfredo, Glenn Kamara, you know, I think he's 2024. Aribo is probably, Kent is another one. Dougie, I don't know. Money talks, mate. I think probably, I reckon 3's probably going to go. I think we're going to lose 3.
I think if the guys go that he's mentioned in their first teamers, ultimately it has to be head for head, and then we have to get other players, fringe players out to strengthen the squad. But their first team starters, JFK.
I rhymed through them last week, and obviously Alan McGregor through wastage and that, because I don't think Alan will play for us next season. But I mean, you made a great point there. I mean, if you'd asked me, like we did last week, and said who would go and who would stay, and I gave you a list. But if you asked me that same question at 5:30 and Sunday night, I would have said any of them. But I mean, we're going to lose. I mean, the goalkeeper obviously, but for me, it's Hollander will go. Goldson doesn't want to be there. Simpson will go. Probably Balogun. That leaves you with Tavernier, Bassey, and Balogun in that area.
You're going to sing there, Jimmy.
Aye. But then you come into the middle, and I mean, obviously what Lundstrom's been doing, and then one of your favourite players, Hadji. But then you come into it, Davis will go through wastage again. Ramsey will definitely be away. How much money will we get for Aribo and Kamara? Will we get a decent fee for them? I think we will. And then obviously you're up front. You know, Ahmad's away. Diallo, it didn't waste of space. Kent will money. Morelos, he'll probably go. Roof is a bit of an enigma. Sakala, I think, would probably stay. So, me personally, I've been going for between 9 and 11 players out of the full pool, mate.
Aye. It's a difficult one, Dougie. What's your thoughts?
I had about 9 that would be going. Similar to yourself, kind of some of them are getting to the point where the age you would expect them to be going, like McGregor, Arfield, etc. I think we definitely need to lose one of the main strikers, be it Ruth or Buff. And that's more to prepare ourselves for the season after. I wouldn't like to change 2 of our main strikers. I've got a list of a few. I've got McGregor because he's old, Balogun, he's not getting game time, Helander because he's not getting game time, Davis because he's old, Arfield because he's old, Kamara for game time, Fashion Sakala. I love him as a person, but I don't think he's good enough for Rangers. One of Buffer, Ruth, and Cedric Itten. And then all the others that I haven't mentioned, like Ken and Jack and Aribo, etc. I would love the board to fight to keep them.
The hardest guys to get rid of might be bizarrely, is guys at Helander who maybe get a year or 2 years to go and they've not had a lot of football due to injuries and they're just going to sit. That's the modern football. Can be cruel for supporters, mate. But Jaffa, some people are just going to sit in it.
They are, Ox, and that'll happen in any pool, and we'll be no different come the close season. There will be, I get what the guys are saying, there'll be some, the guys that will just be natural wastage. McGregor is probably will hang up his boots, Stephen Davis, and then he comes on Sunday and you think, maybe another year out of Davis. Arfield the same, when he plays like that, he misses on Thursday night and then he scores a brilliant goal on the turn on Sunday, and you think, I gave him another year. But listen, they'll all know who's going to go, and they'll know who's going to stay, and they'll know where there's offers lying for them. These things are already in motion. We know how it works with these agents and so forth, and we're just going to have to sit it out. But like you said, Ox, if they bring the money in, they need to spend the money. I mean, I heard Richard Goff talking today about Connor Goldson, and tell you what, Big Goffy did when he talks and he opens his mouth, you sit up and listen, because he doesn't usually rave about anybody talking about just how much it would cost the club to replace him. He reckons £8 million to replace Connor Goldson. And Goff knows his defenders.
I read that today.
I get where he's coming from. I think the trouble with Connor, and I'll take this one to Dougie, get his thoughts on it in GFK. People might have different views on Connor Goldson, the player, and that when he passed that ball. He was like Franz Beckenbauer. He'd been 20 million when he passed that ball the line in front. Right, but the consistency for the games he turns out, you've got to doff your hat to him, Dougie.
Yeah, I like Connor Goldson. I was listening to the radio yesterday, and I think it was Southside that was saying that he was speaking to him, etc.
Oh,
I like him as a...
That was Kenny. Kenny's new mate. Aye. Southside's not got any mates.
But I think there's an element of some players, they need to be sold to get a good revenue in for them. And there's some I would want to hang on to, even though you would get a good revenue from them. So the likes of, as I say, Kent and Bassey, etc. I think we could maybe make some money if we sold Buff. With Goldson, I'm kind of sitting on the fence. He could stay or he could go. I like him as a player, but I wouldn't fight to keep him. There's other players I would fight to keep before I got to Goldson.
Obviously he's not a flair player, but important position, Jaffa. The consistency of the guy turning out, and it's remarkable, isn't it?
Well, you look at what we've paid for Connor Goldson, and I mean, I don't know the exact number, but the number that was quoted was $3.5 million, and then you look at what we've paid for Helander. Was it round about the same kind of money, 2.5, 3 million? And you look at the amount of games that Helander's played. He's a good player, Helander, but obviously he's been plagued with injury. And then you look at Connor Goldson and the numbers that he's turned out. and you've paid the same money out, and that gives you a perfect example of just what you're getting for, we know, on with two players in our team with completely different numbers. It's how much it's going to cost to replace it, or to get a replacement for Connor Goldson. Are we spending 4 million? Are we spending 5 million? I get that guys will leave, of course they will, and for personal reasons. And I can't read what the whole situation is with Connor Goldson, all that staring up into the fans and lighting it up and all the rest of it. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Does that mean I'm staying, or I want to stay, or does that mean I'm just starting him up because I'm leaving? I don't know, guys. I don't get it. I just wish you would come out and tell us.
It's a bit as the song says, should I stay or should I go? I think he'll go. I agree with what you're saying, Ox. I mean, sometimes he's been poor a couple of games, and then he'll go on a wee run of games, and he'll be very good. Sometimes magnificent. But the story that will not go away is that he's supposedly looking for 45 to 50,000 a week. Rangers are never going to pay that to any player again. That's never going to happen. So whether his head's been turned elsewhere and he's got a deal under his hat, and I don't know, but it would be difficult to replace. I read Goff's thing today. I mean, I think he quoted maybe possibly a £6 and £8 million player, Jaffa, to replace him. So we're not going to spend that type of money.
That's the trouble. Well, we spent 7 on Kent, and let's just say it costs $6 million to replace Connor Goldson, Jaffa. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we give that person a 4-year contract or a 3-year contract. I don't think Connor's age. I think a 2-year extension would be fair, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But even if you brought somebody on a 3-year contract costing you £6 million, that's £2 million a year. And then you've got the wages on top of that. You can actually end up worse off financially. Yeah. But the problem you've got, if you've got a wage structure and you start breaking it, where does it stop? It's a catch-22, isn't it?
Yep, and that's what looks like the situation is. It's a bit. There's obviously, there's other players have signed their contracts. Kamara signed his contract. When Buff was offered these extensions, he signed these extensions. Obviously, they're getting a rise when these guys are doing that. If they're getting $5,000 a week extra, then we have to sign that extra extension to their contract, because it's got to be it's a two-way thing. It's got to be, the clubs have got to get the security from it. That should they sell the player, then they've got the contract space, the time in their contract to sell, because that's essentially what they're doing. But in the case of Connor Goldson, he's run his contract down. And as far as we understand it, there's a deal on the table. There was a deal on the table, and like Jimmy said there, we're not going to break that. We're not. It's not going to. I don't know about you guys. I don't think Connor Golson's worth $50,000 a week.
No. I get that. But the replacement could cost you more than that, and we don't know what level of consistency. Well, we could give Connor Goldson a new contract, and something could happen to him at the start of next season. Mm-hmm. That's football to gear.
Sorry, I was on mute there. Yeah. As I say, there's obviously a lot of unpredictability with the whole thing. I mean, if you'd asked me on Wednesday, I said I would have wanted Ramsey to stay, but I've now got a niggling doubt that he's got a serious kind of underlying medical issue that he laid up that's not going to go away. I think that's why Juventus kind of put him out to pasture for a wee bit. I would have wanted him to stay, and I still kind of do, but at the same time, I think he's got an injury that's dogging his career a wee bit. As I say, I do like Goldson. I think he's a good player. He's more often good for Rangers than he is. Obviously, if he's bad in defence, it gets highlighted. But as you've said there, I don't think he's worth putting extra money in for to keep him, and I think he can be replaced. There's probably a list of about 6 or 7 players that I would like to see moving on, and some of that's for financial reasons, some of it's just attrition.
How do you replace, and I don't want to turn this into Connor Goldson, we'll make this a last question on, but how do you replace Jeff at that level of consistency, appearances? People would maybe say he's consistent. No saying he's 9 out of 10 every week, but his level of consistency and performance is okay. How do you, the injury front, the playing front, and then for a centre half, he's clever because I can't mind him ever being suspended.
That's a great point, Ox. He's not. Doesn't get sent off. His game time is staggering. It is staggering, the numbers that he produces, his fitness levels.
I'll give you what he's got. 4 years with his 215 appearances, mate.
I mean, that's some amount of football. That is a staggering amount and that's the gamble, Ox. That is the big gamble. We let Connor Goldson walk out the door. You're right, your numbers are bang on there. We go and spend 4, 5, 6 million quid on somebody if we do. Or they be back into the market of we're going to get a free transfer. You just don't know what you're going to get. It doesn't matter even spending 5 million. You don't know what you're going to get, and that's my exact point on Hollander. We went out and spent good money in Hollander, and then you compare that to Hollander's game time over the same period of time as Connor Goldson. And
I think in a year less he's played. He's roughly played in his 3 years with us, but Connor's done in 1.
Oh, there you go.
Roughly.
And that's a great snapshot picture, and that's just in our team. So, listen, Golson's agent will know all of this. I think there's an element of Connor Goldson still wants to sign, and I think he's trying to tug at the heartstrings. Personally, I think he's trying to tug at the heartstrings of the club, of the directors, to squeeze an extra 5 or 10 grand. Because as you've just said there, it's probably down to Connor's contract time as opposed to contract money, I suspect. I reckon he's probably looking for a 4-year contract and we're maybe offering him a 2.
I don't think it makes sense to give him a 4-year contract, if I'm being honest. You know,
he's 29, isn't he? So
I could see like 2 with 1 year extension if both parties agree or whatever, something like that. I get that.
Yeah,
it's difficult, Jimmy. If we were saying we were letting Connor go and we were bringing in Philip Hollander in the summer, you say, okay, we're bringing in a Swedish internationalist for Connor Goldson. He's played 60 games in 3 years. I know that's just your luck, mate, isn't it?
Right. But I mean, there's a story about Hollander today that's raised its head, and the previous manager's looking to make a bid for him. Whether that's a true story or no, but I mean, we could be a left. No, we don't know. Look, he might be turned. You know, it's all right. Rangers turning around and saying to the guys, you know, look, we can offer you Champions League football next season once the season's done. But okay, I want to go to Champions League. We know Rangers can make money, but you need to pay me what I think I'm worth. And there's no way that guys like Connor Goldson are worth £45,000 a week. That's a no-brainer for me. But it's the money that we can bring in for other players. No, how is that money going to be spent? Is it going to be to allay any debt that's still there, or is it we're going to go and start getting guys like Diallo and Ramsey, you know, players like that? So I think we need to be careful going forward here. I know we could maybe get rid of 7 or 8.
Recruitment is the most difficult and the most difficult and the biggest gamble all the time at a football club. Dougie, it's no easy, you know.
No, but it's just because ultimately I'm kind of the team are playing well at the moment, and I'm happy with the team. But at the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking you don't want to over the close season have a whole new squad coming into place. So you need to make some big changes this season and probably the next season, just to kind of spread it out. There's a lot of people, as you say, that are going to be moving on naturally. Some of them are going to be getting on a bit, so they're going to be retiring, and it's just that all coming to a head. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Aye, it's difficult. I mean, Alan McGregor, Stephen Davis, guys we all love Jaffa, but the sands of time, you know.
Yeah,
when I watched Stephen Davis in extra time, I know he hadn't played the full game, but he still looked the best football player.
He looked brilliant. Oh, he was controlling the game. Ox was ace. It was just exactly what we needed at that time, and he was loving it. You know, that wee look round the shoulder. You know, he looks as if he's on his CBT test every time he gets the ball. Yeah, it's brilliant. So I agree with you. You know, it's such a fine balance. You know, getting the players right, getting the right ones in, and letting the right ones go or the wrong ones go at the right time. It's going to be challenging. There's no two ways about it over the summer. But there's a lot of football still to be played between now and the end of the season before we have to start worrying ourselves. But it will come round quickly. There's no two ways about it.
If I've got a choice, Jeff Kane, it's just me personally. If people don't want to be with us, shake hands and let them go. You know, I don't like people want to be play. They want to be at our club. It's a privilege to play for our club, and they should be thankful every day when they wake up.
100%, mate. Look, there's better players than Connor Goldson have left Rangers. Far better players. And I'm with you on that. If you don't want to play for the team, then you go and go elsewhere. And let's hope that you get as good a success as you get at Rangers. But if he doesn't want to be there, mate, just let him go.
Mm-hmm. Aye. We'll see
just one thing I'll say, having watched the B team today, there's a young lad that was playing at the back. In fact, there's a couple of young lads that shone today, and there's a young lad called Leon King that we've seen a wee bit of. We'd probably be quite happy to see Connor Goldson going out the door.
I think he would move up. I only seen the second half, Jaffa. Somebody's got to keep the wheels of industry turning, as you well know. Right. Right. I don't think there was anybody playing in that game. In the second half, what I saw, who's ready to step into your first team.
We're talking about like Lowry and boys like that?
At the moment, I'm not saying in 6 months' time and a year's time. And I'm not saying there's not a lot of ability there. The boy in the middle of the park, they showed touches and all that. Physically, they didn't look ready, and it just looked like a kid's game, you know. And
well, me and you spoke a while back, and I mean, you shoot the plaudits, quite rightly so. You're the gaffer, and we talked about Patterson. I remember myself and Big Stevie went to a couple of the European youth games at Firhill. Mm-hmm. And we come back and we said Patterson, but you'd already said about Patterson. But he's the only one that's come out of that whole squad next year. You look at the likes of the rest of them, or Nathan Coombs and all them, they've all went to pastures new or playing, basically under 23s football elsewhere down in South.
He's been on the bench a few times for Brentford, mate.
Has he?
He's been on the bench a few times.
I've watched, but I mean, but you look at like Lowry, for me, I know he
had a couple ability, Jimmy.
Got ability, but he's certainly not ready for a long-term run in the team. And I can't see anybody else that sticks out. Only Big Patterson has in the last 5 years. And I've not seen anybody, out with that. So, you're right. We don't have any youth.
I like the boy Liam King. And the boy Patterson might have that X factor going forward. But it's a step up, innit? Going from youth football to first team football, and hopefully you've got to get that progression right, just like the recruitment. It's a difficult thing to get right.
Yeah, very much so. I watched a wee bit of the game today. Some good players, but as you say, it's a big step up to professional football. It's easy for me to watch it and criticise, but it's a different thing playing it.
No,
listen, I'm going to.
Was happy watching. Sorry. No, carry on, Dougie.
So I was just going to say, I'm going to sign off. Thanks for your time.
No, great to hear you. First time.
Yeah, Dougie, cheers.
Is this your first time you've phoned us?
It is, yes.
Thanks a lot, mate. We really appreciate new callers, yeah. Great to hear
Good points.
Can I just give a shout out to the Chuckle Brothers, Darren, Ian and Paul? And I'll speak to you all later. Cheers, thank you.
All right, okay. Chuckle Brothers.
See you later, Dougie.
Cheers, Dougie. I think I was with him on Sunday night, the Chuckle Brothers. Right, okay. Leon King, I did enjoy him, and I thought he looked the best on show today, in my opinion. And the boy Miller playing in midfield, very, very industrious as well. Lowry, some great touches. Great touches, and the goal that the boy took, the first goal, was an excellent finish. And at times he played some lovely football, but you've got to put it in context, and it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult to say he's going to make a step up. Yeah. He needs this, he needs that. And you're dealing with nature, you're dealing with attitude, you're dealing with luck, Jaffa. It's difficult, isn't it?
It is. You're right, Ox. All of those factors play a huge role in whether they make the break. Probably another player's misfortune usually is a big part of it as well. And getting the call up and getting kind of thrown in almost sometimes. But yeah, we've got to put the trust in the coaching team, the guys in the background. They're seeing them day in, day out. They all know they're all ex-pros. Van Bronckhorst himself and Roy Mackay and all the other guys that are involved there, Dave Voss. So they all know a player when they see a player. So we've just got to trust their judgment, Ox, that they're right. And they get the timing right, and they get. I mean, I love seeing. I think we all do. I've heard we talk about it regularly on the show on here. We all have seen our own coming through, and I'm no different from that. I love seeing the young lads coming through because it's brilliant for the team, brilliant for the club, and it ultimately it's brilliant for them as well. To make the breakthrough because it's what they've played for the past 10 years, and getting into the first team is what it's all about.
And they're getting close, and I'm not saying, don't take me wrong, JFK, I'm not saying they're not going to make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you said next week, and by the way, the boy could come in, injuries, and do something spectacular. The boy Liam King get a place in a cup final squad or a semi-final squad, like Derek Parley did back in the day. And takes care of you,
Well, there's two instances there, right? John Fleck and then Middleton, right, who were hailed to be the next best thing, but they never fulfilled what they should have been. I know Middleton's still with St Johnson, and we know that John's still doing Sheffield and that. So it is hard, mate. You've got to have obviously that mentality, and I think Patterson had that mentality. And I'm just hoping that young Lowry has. There's something about him. I think he's a cracking player. But if he can build his cell up a wee bit and get his chance, and hopefully when he does get his chance, he takes it, because I think there is a good player in there. Leon King, I'm not so sure about. I just think he's got a long, long way to go for me.
I'm the other way about. I would say that Leon's getting closer when I see him. I don't know what you think, Jaffa. And by the way, I've not seen that much of him, so I'm judging it in very limited